Hey guys, Wolfgang here, and welcome back to What's Up Phoenix. Um, like I said, right now, unfortunately, the production value is going to be really low, and my auditory skills, my speaking skills are going to be a little rough until I continue with this passion project of mine, and I get a little bit better. The production value gets a little bit better, and I can commit a little bit more time and energy to it, and we'll see where it goes. Perhaps I can commit a lot more time and energy to it. But for right now, I'm just going to do my small part in a fight that I feel is very important. I'm going to try to give you guys always, on the subjects that we do, any topics that we discuss. I'm going to try to give you guys the facts on one side and my emotions and opinions on the other, and try to keep those two separated. And that way, you guys can look at the facts and make up your own minds and decide, and do your own research, do your own homework, and decide how you feel when you think about the topic and the subject that we have discussed in the recent episode. And then, if you guys want, you guys can also get my opinion on it. So I think for the very first episode on this channel, besides our kind of song video, music video that if you perhaps checked out before this, kind of giving you an emotional feel about how this channel, what direction this channel is going to go into. It's going to be about something I thought would be interesting and pretty simple to start out with. The new Star Wars videos. I know those are very old and kind of played out. However, I was recently giving them another chance with my wife and trying to see that maybe perhaps with time, like with the prequels, as they kind of grew on me and I enjoyed them a lot more. So I was trying to give the same chance to these newer Star Wars videos that I did with the prequels. However, unfortunately, they didn't grow on me. Actually, in fact, it was the total opposite. They kind of continually, steadily got worse. Actually, and I started really, really thinking hard about some of them, and I started realizing some of the major things that I was finding really, really wrong with them. What it was that I was really making me not like these videos. And I know there's 1,000 videos on YouTube right now going over some of these major plot holes, some of the nonsensical things. What was a certain directing and editing and cinema mistakes that you should not make, especially as a multi-billion-dollar company like Disney, who can afford the best directors, the best writers, some of the best actors. Um, some of these things, some of these mistakes that these movies made, they really should have. These are like basic, amateur directing and writing and cinema, stuff that you really shouldn't get wrong, especially with so much money and so much talent involved. And don't be mistaken, there was a lot of money and a lot of talent involved in these movies. And I know some of these directors, yes, they have some flaws, especially with J.J. Abrams. He does really good at taking something old, revamping it into something new and current, and something that kind of has some of the spirit and essence of the old film or the old media and story, and bringing it back to life with like new visual effects and making it much more current and enjoyable, not just for people who used to enjoy it, but he does that very well. He's not very good at coming up with something creative and something fresh and something new entirely on his own. So that's just one of the critiques with him. I'm sure the other director that did the second movie, I mean, and then the fact that they all didn't really have any coordination between any of them, which seems odd, which you think they would have it on an executive and production level. And once I started thinking about that, really thinking about J.J. Abrams doing a couple of the movies and thinking about, trying to revamp, especially the very first one, which was so eerily similar to A New Hope. And I get that that was probably was the newest one, the first one of the new trilogy is probably the one I have the least amount of negative energy or comments towards, because I feel like that was probably is the best way to get restart these new trilogies, to kind of grab the old fans and bring them into something entirely new story, and kind of bridge that space that was in between these sagas. But it got me really thinking, though, and that's where all these things that where people say, that some of the story doesn't make sense, some of the plot holes that just really don't make sense, and how it kind of jumps all over the place, and some of the directing mistakes that, like I said, amateur directors should have really have made. I believe it was in uh, the Return of Skywalker, I believe that's called, or the third one in the new trilogy. Finn has a big secret to tell Ray, which a lot of people, including me, speculated that was he was in love with her, or something to that matter. Um, However, and he even mentioned as they were sinking in quicksand, oh no, they thought they were gonna die, and he's all, Ray, I have something I to tell you before before he thinks he's gonna die. And then in the last minute they were saved, and they just dropped that. Never once brought it up. There was a lot of Chekhov's guns, or whatever they call those, in these movies where they brought something up, and kind of just left it hanging or left it unfinished or unresolved. So there were just, like I said, those basic mistakes, and I started thinking about the first one, how it was to bridge the gap from the old and the new, and because they wanted to bring a new audience, a new generation into Star Wars, and to fall in love with Star Wars, to continue to milk this franchise and Star Wars for years to come. And then that's when it hit me that all these basic mistakes, all these writing mistakes, all directing mistakes, and the movie jumping around like crazy, and at times not really making any sense, and or being too complex, or the whole casino scene in the second one that you could have cut out of that movie, and the movie would have still made sense. So that whole entire casino scene was a waste of time, a huge waste of time. 'Cause it took up a huge chunk of the movie. Um, was that's the whole point. Like I said, Disney's not stupid. These people aren't stupid. They don't have this passion or love for Star Wars. They want to bring in a whole new audience, a whole new way to monetize Star Wars, and more customers to, bring money into that franchise, and that's what they were accomplishing, and that's why I feel like they probably did accomplish that, because that's all it was to them, a way to make millions of billions of dollars for years to come. Why, as the fans, we were upset because we were looking for a beautiful piece of art like the original trilogy to continue, to give us something new and exciting to look at. They weren't. They were looking for money, and that's what I realized was wrong with this whole entire trilogy was it was designed for the Zoomer generation, for Generation Z. The whole movie was designed. The first one kind of got some of the older fans and some of the the older audience, trying to give these movies a chance and spend some money on going to see the new films. But they were designed to get Generation Z to fall in love with Star Wars, or to at least, get a whole new generation of fans going. And it was built exactly for Generation Z, exactly how they work and how they think and how their brains work and how they, view and absorb media and art. Um, you look at things like TikTok and Facebook and memification of everything, and all of that. They have, unfortunately, their attention spans are a lot lower, and they absorb data at a much higher rate. And I don't know if you guys, I have 3 kids, 5 kids, sorry, 4 kids. Uh, I can't even keep track anymore. Um, and if you ever watch them, do anything from playing video games to watching TV, or even just playing games using their imagination, they are all over the place. It is definitely crazy. They definitely do not have the patience. Their brains are going a million miles a second. They absorb data so much faster. But for people like our generation, it can seem almost chaotic, and like they're just jumping and skipping all over the place. But to them, it makes sense, and to them, that's how they can function in the world and view the world. And so that's what these films was made for them. And so that's why, like I said, think of a TikTok video. Think of some of the stuff, some of the YouTube shows that this younger generation watches, and how there's constant action, jumping all over the place. And I've seen some of these YouTube channels. I'm trying to think of some. One Love, and oh man, I watch them all the time with my kids. But I'm kind of having Rebecca Zamolo. Um, how these channels have kind of a story and a plot to keep the kids interesting and kind of make it almost like episodic, but then it jumps all over the place, the action and the story, and it goes back and forth, and then it goes into areas that don't make any sense and have nothing with the original plot, and then they go back to the original plot, and to them, that's how media and that's how arts and stories are supposed to be told, and that's what makes. So yeah, it just think of like a TikTok video, like I said, or some of these. My son, who is a teenager now, watches on YouTube channels that just show meme after meme after meme. And to me, I'm like, dude, how can you just sit there and watch this? It just, like I said, it honestly, it makes me very anxious. It makes me a little stressed out, and it's just so chaotic and bounces around. And that's exactly the Star Wars movies, honestly, where, like I said, these things don't have to have plots to fulfill themselves. As long as the story kind of keeps moving, it could be a little chaotic, excuse me, and all that. So, um, it really dawned on me that's exactly so. The Star, there's not, they didn't do the Star Wars movies wrong. They didn't make any mistakes. I mean, well, I'm sure they made mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, of course, but they made it exactly how they wanted and to attract the audience that they wanted to. And it had not. It was a disservice to the original Star Wars fans, but they don't care about any of the original Star Wars fans. They wanted these new Star Wars fans, this new generation, to start liking them. And honestly, if you ask my teenage son or even ask my teenage daughter, they enjoyed the movies. They thought they were good movies, and I hated them every bit of it. Every bit of it. I mean, don't get me wrong, there were some really cool things, and like I said, if they just did a classic storytelling, a classic hero story, they could have made them something great that perhaps all fans would have liked, but that this generation would have found it slow and boring. So I've noticed that about a lot of things lately, a lot of media lately. I know every generation, older generation, goes, "Oh, these kids in these days with their shiny whistles and all that," you know. And every generation has some complaints about the younger, newer generation coming up. But honestly, it does have me a little worried for their mental health because, like I said, just watching these videos makes me a little anxious, a little stressed. I know they're capable of absorbing data much faster, but I don't know. I just don't. I don't feel that it's a healthy way to live. But I mean, I could totally be wrong. What do you guys think? Leave a comments below about, do you think that this generation is gonna be okay, or is this gonna be something that spells trouble for them? Um, is this a healthy way to view media or absorb media and data or art in general? So let me know, guys. I would really like to hear what you guys have to say about that. My next video, like I said, I started out with this one with something a little slower. I'd like to hear what you guys think about it, but the next episode, we're going to definitely go into something a little bit deeper, a little bit more complex, a little bit more adult, uh, about a company called BlackRock that I personally have not heard of ever. I'm sure many of you guys have probably never even heard of it, um, unless you're a stockbroker. I don't know too many stockbrokers in my field, so my sister's boyfriend is really, really big into stocks. So before I make that video next week, which I'm already working on, I'll definitely talk with him and see if he's heard of BlackRock. But yeah, you guys should be hearing of this company because they own everything. Um, in the future, I'm also thinking about making a video about newer businesses to kind of bounce off of this idea of the newer generation of how the world's changing in ways that are more fitting to their mental state, to the way that their brains work and all that. And it's definitely very interesting. So let me know if you guys definitely how you guys would like me to proceed about this train of thought, because I definitely think that there's many roads and a lot to dive into concerning this. It's honestly a shame. um, we're definitely not going to like any of the newer movies, TV shows, and all that stuff, because like I said, if Disney, is definitely one of the bigger media corporations. They carry a lot of weight, in producing and how the art's gonna, which way it's gonna go, and how media is gonna go. And I guarantee you, YouTube's already started a trend, made Disney aware of which direction it needs to go in. And I definitely know that a lot of the more classic, or one of some of the more bigger production companies and the more gigantic companies are going to follow this trend. So a lot of our movies and TV shows are definitely going to be following suit. Just like how the older generations always think that the younger generation's music sucks. We're definitely going to think that their music and their I definitely think that their music sucks, but and then there's actually some factual evidence to support that it's not just the fact that they don't like the style of it. It has to do with the sound level, has to do with the way they produce it and how it's become just like almost industrialized the way that they make music. Not really an art form anymore, but more of like a mass production way of making money. But yeah, I mean, like I said, movies and TV shows are definitely going to be following suit, guys. And definitely know that I'm not going to have a whole lot of movies and TV shows I'm going to want to watch in the future, except for those who go back to the more archaic, I guess, now or older style of making art and media. So, like I said, guys, if you guys can like this video, um, subscribe and click that little bell thingy so that way you guys can stay in the loop for any of my newer videos coming out. This is just a passion project of mine, but I hope that it continues to grow. I really want to grow with you guys, and I really want this community to be something more than just a YouTube community, but an actual community that supports one another, helps one another, is there for one another, and can really accomplish things and make change in the real world. And I know that it's capable. This awesome, hyper connected, interconnected world where we all have electronics and phones and laptops and TVs and virtual reality even now, and where we can all communicate in a different variety of apps and media and social media sources. We definitely can use this not just to watch cat videos, not just to turn off our brains for a little bit and unwind, but to learn and grow and challenge each other and help one another and make a real difference in the world, guys. So that's what this video is going to be about. I hope you guys are on, you guys join me on this journey. And like I said, I know every, you know, comment content creator says this, that it's all about you guys and they really want you guys involved in the process. But I'm dead serious. That's what this is about. It's about making a community that's more than just a digital community. It's something real, something tangible. So please, guys, like I said, leave your comments, join me on this journey. Until next time, I love you all. Be safe out there.